Hello, everyone, and good evening to you. I welcome you to another video tutorial on the EURUSD, where I will be taking you on my thought process on what my expectations are for the EURUSD as we head into the new week. Well, I would like to state here that this is going to be a follow-up video to my previous analysis. So, for those who would like to see what we are actually looking at prior to this event, you might want to check that in the comment section of this video as I will be dropping the link therein. So without further ado, let's dive into the charts and let's see what is going on in the market right now. Well, the first thing I did here was to scale up to the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame, the obvious setup we can see on the daily time frame is that price action has been on a long-term bearish momentum. And as a result of this, I was able to identify a bearish trend line. And after connecting the series of higher lows and lower highs, rather, and in fact, I have a couple of trend line here. And I have the first one, which is the major bearish trend line, which is the thick dark line on your screen. And then we have the temporary bearish trend line, which is the dotted line on your screen. And this has been holding price action on the downside since the beginning of the year. As you can see here, I was able to connect the series of lower highs, as you can see on your screen, and this gave us that resultant bearish trend line. However, during the course of 2 weeks ago trading session, we saw this significant breakout of that structure, which was immediately followed by a bearish momentum, which took price right back to the downside. Well, on the daily time frame here, the most important structure is not the bearish trend line here, but the key level at the $1 mark. And if we look closely into this current structure here, you can see how that level at the $1 area has been a major determinant of price action in the last 3 to 4 months now. If we take a look at what has been happening since the month of July, we saw at one point in time when price came around the $1 area, participants in this market gathered here to buy the euro. The same thing happened in the month of August, stroke the early days of the month of September, as we saw bullish momentum from that area, but this wasn't strong enough as this was met with strong resistance from the sellers, which also lines up with that bearish trend line one more time to break down the $1 mark area during the later part of the month of September. And since then, price has continued to trade right below the $1 area. And what this simply tells us is that the sellers are very strong at this point in the market. So we need to be very, very mindful of how we want to be trading this, considering the fact of how this level has been a major determinant of price action. And in the last couple of months, that level price has been trading right below that level, emphasizing the strength of the sellers at this point. So what we are going to be looking at right now is to see how we are going to be able to trade this going into the new week. Well, if we zoom closer into what has been happening since the early days of the month, the later part of the month of September, you can see here that I was able to connect the series of higher lows here to give us that bullish trend line, which I will be calling a temporary bullish trend line in the meantime. And as you can see, after connecting the series of higher lows here, we were able to have that trend line. And though we had that trend line, we couldn't buy the Euro USD when we saw it. And the reason why we couldn't buy the Euro USD was the fact that this strong selling niche that we have here at around the $1 mark area. And one thing I said here a couple of weeks on the Euro USD a couple of weeks ago was that before I can buy the Euro USD, I want to see a significant breakout of the $1 area, after which a retest to structure might likely give us a confirmation to join the rally to the upside. But with the current structure we have here, and we actually saw the breakout of that structure 2 weeks ago, but this was followed by a strong selling momentum, which pushed price right back into that bullish trend line. Sorry, hold on a second. Into that bullish trend line that we identified earlier. So we identified this bullish trend line. We can see the rejection of the $1 mark 2 weeks ago led price right back into that bullish trend line. And during the later part of last week trading session, we saw an engulfing candle taking us right out of that bullish trend line one more time to give us a clue that we might be having a bullish momentum. So going into the new week, I have two scenarios looking at what is happening on the daily time frame here, and these are the first one is a situation where this engulfing candle will actually take us out of the $1 area, that is, give us a breakout of that structure. And remember, we are not getting too excited at that point, as we really need to wait for further confirmations to give us that leverage to join the rally in the form of a retest of that structure, which might likely come back into the $1 area or the bullish trend line here, after which we look out for patterns on lower time frame that will be supporting a trend continuation to the upside. So that is the first scenario I want to be looking at on the Euro USD. Then the second scenario I want to be looking at is that we want to see how price action is going to relate to the $1 area again. If we are going to be having, there is a possibility that we might be having a situation where price evolved into a reversal pattern right below the $1 area, and probably selling pressure around that area on lower time frame could incite a trend continuation to the downside. And if that happens, we might be looking at the demand zone around the 0.9600 level as a take profit target for that momentum. But at this point in time, the only thing we can do here is to remain patient, and let's see how participants in this market will be relating to this current structure during the early hours of the new week. And be rest assured that I will be jumping in the comment section of this video to give you an update on how I intend to trade this after monitoring how price action is going to relate to this area during the early hours of the new week. Well, if this video has been of immense help in making your individual decision on the Euro USD this week, kindly support this project by clicking the like button. You would also want to follow me on my TradingView platform at Dark Sherry so that you don't miss out on the regular updates I normally share in the comment section of every video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you on Monday morning right in the comment section of this video, and let's get ourselves prepared to take advantage of a trading opportunity on the Euro USD this week. Do have a wonderful night rest, and see you on Monday. Bye bye.